Welcome to your journey to discover the true power of happiness and discipline. It's not that you lack discipline, it's the happiness hypothesis will help you find life balance in a profound and meaningful way.
It's not that you lack discipline, but rather the happiness hypothesis, published by Chanel Audiobooks by Drbook. There's a saying, a happy life is a chain of correct daily choices. Our brains constantly make decisions or prepare to choose from simple small things in life, like choosing to stay up late or wake up early, eat fast food or healthy food, choose to read or play games, to bigger decisions like what we should do, how we should live, and what kind of person we should become. However, many times in life, we know clearly what we should do. We've even made commitments to change, but ultimately, we still choose things that we later regret. We know we want to lose weight, but still can't resist that barbecue feast. We know we need to go to bed early, but still fail in front of the phone in hand. We know that procrastination is not good, but still hesitate, only to rush to finish work on the last day. Day after day, you are constantly lost by your own wrong decisions. So what power is controlling your behavior? Why is our will so weak? You may think that it's because you don't have enough discipline, not enough self-control, or not enough reason. But these reasons are only on the surface. If you want discipline, achieve success, and have a fulfilling life, you can't start by forcing yourself to be rational or have strong reason. From the perspective of a series of daily decisions and throughout life, happiness is simply the choice, the ability to choose. The book that Better Version is sharing with you today is called The Happiness Hypothesis by Jonathan Haidt, a great thinker and the proposer of positive psychology. He will tell you that in fact, the root cause of your weak will and why you always lack the ability to be happy when facing choices is because you haven't really understood that there are two systems controlling your psychology at the same time: the giant elephant and the small rider. This book is a combination of knowledge from many fields, such as psychology, philosophy, sociology, religion, ethics, and anthropology. It also uses research from the fields of neuroscience and modern social psychology to verify classic hypotheses about happiness. It has been enthusiastically introduced by other famous psychologists such as Martin Seligman, Barry Schwartz, and Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the author of the book Flow, which I also loved, along with many newspapers like People and The Times. The Elephant and the Rider is not only a book about happiness, psychology, and personal development, but also a story about the mind and the intellect within you. Understanding it will help you know how to go in the right direction towards a truly happy life. Now, please listen to the content shared today. We are just the riders, not the rulers, because our psychological elephant operates like this. Buddha has a verse like this: "Before this mind, unbridled, ran after desires, now I will restrain it, as with a hook an elephant from the beginning." Buddha compared the human mind to a wild elephant, free to satisfy desires, but humans can still become the rider, holding the reins, controlling the huge elephant. Even when it is angry, hot-tempered, and full of attachments, we can still control it. In this respect, our soul and instincts are like a wild elephant, while our reason is the elephant's rider. This is also the analogy used by the author throughout the book, and in his 10 years of social science has always affirmed that humans are rational individuals, able to use available resources to set and achieve goals. However, the reality is not always like that. Take myself as an example. Sometimes I want to wake up early so I can write more content at 6 a.m., but when the alarm goes off, I still turn it off to sleep more. The author tells us that in fact, greed, selfishness, fear, and the love of comfort often win over our reason. Unless the elephant has no desires of its own, we can control and win over it. But if the elephant wants to do something, we often can't control it. So if we keep trying to follow the trend of social science that we must train discipline and ignore the understanding of the heart, the instincts and nature of the elephant within us, then you will find it difficult to achieve unity between mind and intellect in order to have a life you desire. Because human rationality really operates based on emotions, only when the brain is filled with emotions can rationality become effective. In addition, according to research, The human mind is a very complex process. It can be divided into 4 parts: mind and body, left brain and right brain, emotional and rational, control and automation, and they are working in conflict with each other. This is also the reason why you feel disconnected. The first disconnect is that our body and mind often conflict. A French philosopher pointed out that every part of our body has its own feelings and opinions. Therefore, sometimes your mind and thoughts cannot control your body's reactions. The second disconnect is the lack of cooperation between the left brain and the right brain. The left brain is the rider, and the right brain is the elephant. But the left brain often deceives the right brain. The language processing center of the left brain is very good at creating reasons, including unreasonable ones. The rider, even if he does not understand the reason, can still command the elephant naturally. Finally, the most important disconnect is expressed in the systems of control and automation. The automation system is the elephant, which reflects instincts, emotions, and intuition. However, the elephant is often controlled by desires and temptations. It holds within it the ability to trigger dopamine, the happiness hormone, making you do things that excite you. But in reality, the more attractive something is, in you likes to do what it wants, scrolling on the phone for hours, overusing caffeine, cigarettes, sex, or sweets, etc. These things stimulate dopamine, but easily lead to overindulgence and then emptiness. At this point, the control system, the rider, will operate. The rider represents deep thoughts, long-term vision, and long-term plans. However, the problem here is that the rider can only act as an advisor, giving advice to the elephant, but cannot completely control its behavior. In short, we are the rider, but not the ruler of the elephant. You and I are not a king, but can only be an advisor to the elephant. So how should we advise it? In the next part, there will be 7 doors for you to open to be able to see and understand the huge elephant within you, thereby helping you know how to harmonize with the elephant and become the rider that steers it on the right path of true happiness. Understanding and harmonizing with the elephant in you. The first door, the elephant acts based on a pleasure meter. There is an experiment like this. A monkey tries a fruit that it has never tasted before. If the fruit is sweet, the monkey will feel happy, immediately take a big bite, and its pleasure meter will display, "I like it." Conversely, if the fruit tastes bitter, it will feel unhappy and never bite it again. The elephant in us always has a pleasure meter, and most actions are decided based on this meter. In psychology, it is also called the emotional activation effect. When the elephant sees words like hope, fun, or entertainment, it will read very quickly and feel happy. When the elephant sees words like death, disadvantage, or boredom, it will immediately say, have negative "Isn't this normal? Everyone has things they like and dislike." That's right. But let's think deeper with questions like this. What kind of job do you like? Where do you want to live? What kind of partner do you want to find? What kind of life do you want to live? For these important questions related to destiny, can the rider easily say, "Let the elephant decide by instinct"? Of course not, but you need to pay attention that the elephant and the rider of the 21st century are living in an environment of information that is too vast and chaotic. It is very difficult to know what you really need at this moment. Like or dislike is the main way the elephant chooses and makes evaluations. If the rider does not focus on observing and paying attention, he may be lost in the illusions created by the elephant. Everything around can easily be things you like. Gradually, the rider will lose the reason he should have. Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius once said, "The whole universe is constantly changing. How you think life is, that's what it is." Life is really what we think. However, the reality is that our thoughts often form quickly and unconsciously. Be careful with the times when the elephant yells, "Just buy the brand I like. Only watch the content I like. Only communicate with people I like. Only stay in the house I like." So, observe yourself carefully once. Look back at the things you like and dislike and see where is the illusion and where is the real love. Next is the second door, negative preferences based on the principle of species design. In the animal world, animals' reactions to bad things are stronger than their reactions to good things. This is also true for the elephant in you. We are usually more sensitive to bad things. People will pay more attention to negative information and events and react to them faster, more strongly, and for longer than they do to positive things. For example, when hearing good news, the elephant may only react for a moment, but when hearing bad news, the elephant will have a long-lasting fear and cannot calm down for a while. Negative preference is extremely dangerous because when the elephant focuses too much on negative information, it creates negative reactions. If it does not receive comfort or stable encouragement, you will become unusually miserable. Like Benjamin Franklin saying, "We can clearly feel a little pain, but when healthy, we don't feel the third door, self-righteousness." Here, the elephant says, "What I see is right. Others should feel the same as I do." The rider replies, "Exactly. I can only believe what I see." The elephant continues, "I like to read about scandals in the entertainment industry." The rider also agrees and says, "It's not bad to read rumors sometimes." The elephant asserts, "I can objectively assess others and myself." The rider responds, "Of course, as long as I want to." I don't know if you feel something is wrong when you hear this dialogue. In fact, this is a sign of self-righteousness of both the elephant and the rider. There are many self-righteous thoughts, such as people liking to read rumors because they allow them to easily assess others based on their own values and feel that their ethics are superior. This is a moral superiority mindset, or people who have a naive, realistic mindset that strongly believes that the world they see and feel is the most real. Others should also agree with this opinion. Such people think that they are not biased, but in fact, they do not know that this personal view is a type of egocentric bias, or it is a narcissistic mindset in the unconscious that easily sees the small faults of others, but with themselves, it is the opposite. You do not look for the reasons within yourself, but ignore your own shortcomings, as in the Gospel of Matthew. You can see the small splinter in someone else's eye, but close your eyes to the huge beam in your own eye. Psychologist David Dunning conducted an experiment. People always overestimate their own good deeds, while assessing the behavior of others very objectively. When assessing others, we will base it on the reality, but when assessing ourselves, we do the opposite. We often unconsciously associate ourselves with beautiful advantages, then look for advantages for ourselves and think, "I'm really good," then fall into a state of complacency and narcissism. The same thing happens when we make mistakes. We will try our best to become a lawyer, finding every reason to defend ourselves. That these instinctive psychological patterns can cause you trouble in collaborating with others because you will always think, "I am better than others," and feel more worthy. So please ask the rider in you, what kind of person do you want to become? Both the elephant and the rider need to re-examine themselves based on 3 principles. 1, everyone is equal. 2, the world is built from my understanding, but that may not be the truth. 3, it is necessary to open up to understand yourself. Next, at the important 4th door, we will see that the elephant has an instinctive reaction to reciprocate. When someone treats us well and brings us benefits, we will want to reciprocate and bring them benefits. But on another side, this instinct leads to cruelty, which is an eye for an eye, revenge, blood for blood, etc. In the soul of each of us, we always have a strong moral emotion called fairness and integrity. So when watching movies, we will always hope that the villains will be punished and the virtuous will be rewarded. From a psychological point of view, reciprocity stems from our imitative nature. When close to someone we like, we will unconsciously do the same way that person talks, walks, and even thinks. We also like people who imitate us and treat these people more kindly because imitation shows that we are in the same group. The herd instinct is deeply ingrained in our genes. When we understand this instinctive reciprocity in our elephant, we need to see ourselves more clearly in relationships so as not to let hatred or prejudice lead to wrong actions. We can also use instinctive reciprocity as a balance in the relationship between friends and lovers. Note that this balance always needs to be measured. Giving too much or too little from the start can also be a factor in destroying a relationship. Giving each other gifts in the right way, helping each other sincerely, can greatly enhance the relationship. And remember that the teachings from thousands of years ago of Confucius are always a basic principle that can be a compass for us throughout our lives, which is, do not do to others what you do not want others to do. Greed and spending to show off. You will see clearly the greed that is always in your elephant. Let's go back to the elephant's pleasure meter for different things. It always marks like with good feelings or dislike with contempt. Then it informs the rider of this result. The rider is very willing to find something that the elephant likes to satisfy itself. This process repeats daily to the point where the rider develops a specific trend. What the elephant wants, the rider will provide it. When unable to fulfill it, the rider also starts to get annoyed because it cannot satisfy the elephant. So Grace once said that in this world, it's very strange. There are too many things I don't need. The obsession with materialism often makes the rider a prisoner of them. We need to know that liking and not liking sometimes doesn't matter. What you really need to pay attention to is, do I need it or not? From the greed of the elephant, both the rider and the elephant start spending to show off. That is, consuming products just so that others can see them and use them as a symbol of personal status and reputation. The value of the item does not come from its objective property value, but from the assessment of those around it. If the elephant's controller grows up in a competitive environment where everyone praises wealth and intelligence and despises poverty and low education, then the elephant's controller will find it difficult to avoid being influenced by this environment and will always want to become nobler and superior in everything. The elephant is also used to spending to show off, only to add value to its reputation. But what's ironic is that trying to seem and actually becoming are two completely different concepts. Spending to show off only makes the elephant's controller seem to live for external appearances, not to actually become, and enslaves itself to consumption. I have shared a very detailed analysis through the video on the books The New Poor and The Psychology of Money. You can watch and learn more there. Here, in summary, when we understand the psychology of the elephant and the rider, we do not have to avoid consumption, but rather pay attention to the purpose of spending. Let's spend without showing off, that is, consume something based on the value of the product and not to show off personal status or put on a performance for ourselves to see the excessive self-esteem in each elephant. The elephant is very easily offended and protects its self-esteem. The elephant will not care if it hurts others or not. At this time, the elephant urges the rider to express emotions in its way. Conversely, too low self-esteem leads to a lack of confidence, and the elephant often finds fault with itself and criticizes itself when encountering difficulties. The first reaction is usually not to overcome it, but to retreat or stand still. The book suggests that we can raise our self-esteem in a reasonable way, which is to learn a skill that you are able to do, and that makes you feel proud of yourself. Finally, the door for contemplation, number 7, is the paradox of choice. As I said from the beginning, happiness is a choice, but choices always have a paradox. Too many choices often make us unhappy. Many people still think, I must earn a lot of money and have a lot of power in order to have many choices and take control. People always overestimate taking back more choices for themselves. They think, I must try to get into this major so that after graduation, I have more career choices. Or, you need to work at a good company to have the opportunity to find a good partner in the future. We have heard such advice a lot in real life. You need to know that happiness is a choice and also a kind of ability. The ability here is the ability to choose correctly and reasonably. Having many choices is not always a good thing. A person who is hesitant will always hesitate, and a person who tries to weigh the benefits will find it difficult to weigh all the benefits. The important thing on the path that the elephant is walking is not to help it face how many crossroads or to have how many choices, but to ensure that the elephant can move forward. The most important thing is not to focus on what can be chosen, but to act to make a choice. We have now gone through 7 doors to better understand the elephant within you. In the final part, let's learn how to become a rider, how not to blindly follow instincts, but still be able to go on the right path from the heart to move towards happiness. I have summarized 2 important steps from the book as follows. Step 1, cooperate with the elephant. As analyzed above, the most important thing first is that we need to realize the relationship between the elephant and the rider. We must admit that no one is perfect. The elephant and the rider more or less have weaknesses. Accept these shortcomings as part of your whole self. That means accept yourself and look directly at the true you. The author also said that we are a combination of the rider and the elephant. Controlling the elephant with willpower alone is not enough because our health and mental well-being depend on this cooperation. Facing our weak will, we can also learn from the Buddha by avoiding the sources of temptation that create discomfort, or by not looking, not listening, or not thinking about things that trigger dopamine from the elephant's pleasure meter. Buddha found a way to overcome his weakness in the face of human desire by staring at a rotting corpse. Similarly, we can look at the overflowing soda in the hot pot store so as not to overeat when trying to lose weight. Just by targeting something that our own automation system is familiar with, we can gradually change the elephant's desires and control it better. You need to remember that, in fact, there is always great power and motivation in the elephant. But the only way to get these motivations to work in the right direction is that the rider always needs to constantly review and look at himself. So first of all, we need to review what? Review the automatic thoughts and behaviors of ourselves. For example, when you come home, finish eating, do you lie around scrolling on your phone for hours? Before going to bed, do you watch movies or play games until late? Realize the unreasonable beliefs within you. Exaggeration of thoughts, overthinking, personalization, biased thinking in daily life. Set goals for action instead of psychological goals. You can refer to my video number 47 on how to set goals, which I shared earlier, planning for the year. Next, step 2 is to use the equation of happiness. Positive psychology provides a happiness equation, which I will put on the screen, in which hate is the persistence of true happiness. Esh is the range of satisfaction due to innate factors. C is living conditions, is the factors that can be self-controlled. You will see that to have long-lasting happiness, we need to combine all 3 factors. 1, genetic factors. S, 2, living conditions. 3, things that can be controlled. V. However, the first 2 factors are things that we cannot decide. Living conditions, mainly money, gender, age, and place of residence, are things that exist for a long time, so we can only adapt to them. The only thing that we can change is the factors that can be controlled. This is similar to Stoicism, which is to change the things within our control and accept what cannot be changed to improve happiness by adjusting external factors as follows. First is noise, which is something that will cause pain, and we can never get used to it. So it is better to live in a quiet place. Reduce travel time, reduce the amount of work to earn money, and reduce the accumulation of wealth. Learn new knowledge for yourself, try new things, while spending more time with family, resting more, and participating in activities that are beneficial for the body and soul. Next, let's practice meditation and strengthen the flow experience. Focus absolutely, forget about time, and focus on doing the thing at hand. Finally, human relationships are an important factor that affects our happiness. If you have an annoying friend or a colleague, or live with an incompatible partner for a long time, it will be very difficult for you to be happy because we cannot adapt to conflicts between people. Therefore, take care of your relationships. Learn to nurture love, affection, and friendship to make your life more abundant than just closing yourself in the shell of hurt. In addition, if you encounter mental difficulties, try to find psychological recovery methods such as reflection, self-awareness, and seeking help. Write out your emotions, the lessons learned from that experience, and the causes behind daily events. This can help you find the meaning of events and solve difficulties more wisely. So this is the most important thing that Better Version has summarized from this famous psychology book. The elephant is a powerful resource within you. It is the hidden potential that has not been fully exploited by your subconscious. As the controller of the elephant, we don't need to be too strict with the elephant's natural behavior. Be a friend to the elephant so that we can say to our own elephant, "Hello, my elephant. I understand your existence. Now, let's discuss our future together." Hopefully, both you and I, the riders, can accept, embrace, and harmonize with the elephant within us before all temptations, desires, and weaknesses of instinct, so that you can finally have a united, wise, and forward-moving self, where true happiness is always there. Thank you for listening to or reading this from Audiobooks by Dr. Book.